So this is the UI and home screen as of October 15th, 2018. You can see you have now reading, recently added, and then at the bottom you have library, storage, application, light, settings, and browser. On the Onyx Boox Note line of e-readers, or ink devices, the light will be replaced with notes, and then you can do your note taking from there. But you can see the size of this 6-inch device is very small, so it's a very economical addition to their lineup. You have a home button, battery, Wi-Fi. You have this button as well, which basically cleans up all of the memory. So it's like an Android third button that opens up all your tasks. You have a A2 mode, which is really nice. We'll show you that later. And you have a toggle between page turns and volume. Tapping on the top right, you get a couple other things right here. And if you tap in the top middle, you will get your brightness settings. I was going to say evolution. That's our Wi-Fi here at the office. Not battery, Bluetooth, and airplane mode. The settings are very standard Android or Standroid, and you can just go ahead and pause the video at any point in time if you want to see all these. I'm not going to go through every single setting with you guys because basically that's just a lot. I am going to show you this language. Onyx is a very international company, so you'll see that preloaded there are tons of languages available. Everything from Russian, Polski, Netherlands, and a whole bunch more. Simplified and traditional Chinese, Japanese, and so forth. Onyx has always loaded their stock experience ebook reader with options. You basically have a ton of options here. If you tap the center, we'll get into some page turns and stuff in a second. You get font face, and font face brings up this. So you get a bunch of preloaded Chinese fonts, English fonts, text styles, and even if you're a technical user, you can do code page. So if you have UTF-8 or UTF-16 fonts, you can basically toggle that, and there are a bunch of pages of that. And I must mention that the English font face alone has not 19 fonts, but 19 pages of fonts. It's incredible. Clicking on the A's, they basically gauge from bottom to top as per the size. Everything changes live in the background. Tapping the center again, you can even change the contrast, which isn't really changeable on a lot of mainstream devices. You can change the contrast level up piece by piece, make gold text, or set as global preference. So we'll just click that on OK. Global preference will keep it consistent throughout all of the books that you open. Rotation, we're not going to do that because that just turns it into landscape and more. So we have text to speech, we'll show you that in a bit, front light, refresh, slideshow, and settings. These are reading settings. All you do is click on that and it brings you to a whole bunch of settings here. Again, we're not going to go through every one of these. Look how many settings there are. There's about 25 settings in subcategories as well. So needless to say, you're not going to have to go very far from the stock experience. Long pressing gets you copy, highlight, annotation, dictionary, and TTS. If you click annotation, you will see here that it brings up the keyboard. The keyboard is a very nice Android keyboard. You can load in your own Android keyboards as well, so you don't always have to worry about maybe using one that you don't like. Bookmarks are in the top right corner. As such, you'll see right there, and page turns are very quick. There aren't any issues with that at all. Last thing here is clicking on the dictionary will bring you to different dictionaries, and you can download more dictionaries from their server. Now, a lot of people say there isn't too much of a purpose to show PDFs on 6-inch devices, but people always ask us for it, so we're going to do it. This is the page turn experience, and we're going to get to a page like this so we can do some pinching and zooming. You see they don't have a mini-map or anything, it's just basically a zoom factor, and then you can move around from there. You see how choppy it is? Well, basically you can change that by going to A2 mode, which we're going to show you right now. So once you pinch and zoom now with A2 mode on, you will see it is much more fluid as you move it around. And this is because it doesn't always have to render every single time. So A2 mode is a way to get things a little bit more fluid without losing well, actually, with losing a lot of the screen quality. You'll see I try to long press. There is no long pressing on this, unlike Amazon devices, so you are going to be lacking in that department. But clicking in the middle, you have just a plethora of options once again. You have zoom levels, You have navigation levels. So you have text reflow, manual crop, comic mode, article mode, reset, more. Clicking on contrast, it brings you to the same contrast menu we had before with bolds and heavy weight. Rotation obviously takes you to rotation once more, and more takes you to TTS, front light, refresh, slideshow, and settings. A lot of the same things you find in the book you'll find on the PDF, but you'll see that page turns are lightning quick now, even on a very large PDF, because we have A2 mode on. Because this is an Android e-reader, there are a lot of preloaded applications. You'll see anything with a black border is a preloaded app. So you have App Store, calendar, email, apps, update checker, etc. And you even have Google Play, downloads calculator, and anything you load in yourself will show up like that. So we put the Goody Reader App Store on there. There's 50,000 apps on our store, so feel free to use that for free. It doesn't require a subscription or anything. So it does run full apps, and you can sideload in your own APK files. You'll notice that there's a little bit of a blue tinge to it, but there is a way to combat this. They have 2 sets of LEDs, something that even Amazon doesn't have after 10 generations of e-readers. You'll notice that there's a -16, a 0, and a +16. Going to 0 turns off the light entirely, and the closer you get to +16 is going to be your night lighting, and the closer you get to -16 is going to be your blue lighting. And you can put that somewhere in the middle, and you can actually change the color. So this allows you to change the white balance, so to speak. The light distribution is very good. You'll see that it doesn't project too far around the surface of the table here, but it does project a little bit outwards. But because this is a front light, not a back light, no light is actually coming into your face. Light is just kind of emitting on the screen itself, so it won't wake up anyone around you, and it won't hurt your eyes either.
A sink, and a small desk. Lower bunk sat a scrawny white girl with a cross tattooed on her throat. Lexi's in trance. She looked up from her magazine.
So the TTS experience on the stock reader is a little bit robotic, but it is nice that it has it. It doesn't have speakers on it, so you'll have to use something like a Bluetooth speaker, or you'll have to use, wireless headphones or something like that. But just remember, this is the stock experience. You can actually download and install any APK you want onto here and use that text-to-speech engine. So you don't have to use the one that comes with it if you don't want. So this thing has a lot going for it for $159. It is a 6-inch e-reader, of course. Onyx is usually known for making their bigger e-readers and note-taking devices, but this thing is definitely well priced, and it is a competitor for other devices because Onyx is such an international company. They're so open. They have, load in your own keyboards, load in your own APK files, load in your own apps. Don't use our own apps. Use someone else's. Go for it. Feel free. Use 1,000 languages and 100 fonts. It's a very open experience, and they don't lock you into anything. You can just go to the storage and go to the SD card menu and just load in content. You see, we just loaded in APK files, PDFs, EPUBs, anything you want, really. So for a full review of the Onyx Boox Poke, this has been goodyreader.com, and stay tuned for more amazing videos on youtube.com/goodyreader. This is Peter.